Now, turning from vegetables to turf, it never fails at this time of year when we start getting our early frosts that our county extension offices get quite a few calls about a mottling pattern that occurs in Bermuda lawns. And you can look here, and this is just our common Bermuda grass here just south of our orchard. You'll see the mottling pattern just about starting. And what it is, you'll see patches of darker green and then a little bit of brown. And a lot of people want to really associate it with a disease of some type, but really what it is our first frost that we start getting causing the Bermuda grass to go dormant. The way the frost will land on the grass is actually what's causing that pattern. Now, in some areas you'll see it more predominant because it's more open and exposed to the earlier frost. And we've only had just a few light frost here in Stillwater at the time that we were taping this, but even throughout town you'll see different stages of this. Some areas in town we've noticed it's very obvious with the pattern. Some people even think it's attractive, but it's nothing to worry about. Again, it's not any kind of disease problem, it's just a pattern as a result of the early frost, and eventually it will go dormant, and then you won't have any problems with it any time year after year. It's just that early time of the frost that you'll see it showing up on Bermuda grass. Well, while we were out walking around our studio gardens checking out all the fall color, one of our rose bushes actually caught our attention with a deep purple cast to it. And you can see again these tufts of deep purple right in this Maitland rose, and this happens to be the red flowering Maitland. Now, upon closer investigation though, this is not a result of fall color. This is actually what is called a virus disease or a virus-like disease, and in roses it's referred to as a rose rosette. And really what it is if you look at the area that's affected, it causes a witch's broom effect. And the reason they use that terminology, if you'll think about a broom and how it's real tufted at the end and there's a lot of areas that come out, that's what happens to the growth. Now, this particular rose we've had in the gardens probably 5 years, and we've moved it to 3 or 4 different locations because of its aggressive growth. We didn't know it would grow quite that big. We have another white one on the other end of this particular bed that's just taking over. But this is the only one that we have the virus on, and this is really the first time that it's ever showed up. Now, one thing that can also happen when a virus hits a rose, sometimes, again, this is very obvious with the witch's broom effect with all the suckering, but every now and then when it's getting ready to flower, the actual flower part will turn into a leaf or a foliage type, and that's called phyllody or phylloty depending on who you talk to. But it's just a symptom where it's converting it and causing it to be more strap-like. Now, this one really isn't happening that much, but it does have an impact on the shape of the leaf. Some people say, well, can't I just come in and prune these suckers out or these areas that are affected? Well, no, because the virus is in through the whole entire plant. And usually it's spread through propagation or by insects like thrips, sometimes even aphids or leafhoppers, insects that have piercing mouth parts that suck on the sap of the plant. So really about the only thing that we can do with this particular plant is just dig it up and get rid of it now that it's infected. If you were to try to take cuttings off the areas that it's not showing up, the virus could still be in there. But if you've done any pruning on them, I would definitely encourage you to sterilize your pruning shears with like alcohol or some kind of bleach mixture. Even heat them up if you have to, because you can spread that virus with the sap right on the pruners. Now, viruses are not a new thing. You'll see them in other plants. We've even seen it on one of our Marguerite daisies on the north side of our barn. And the characteristics of it is the foliage again is distorted and kind of strap-like the witch's broom effect, but it's more chlorotic, more yellowing. And that's more typical on that particular plant. This particular Marguerite daisy is a new one that we tried that might even overwinter as a perennial. We're real excited about it, but now that it started showing these symptoms, we won't even be able to propagate from it again. We'll just dig it up and pitch it. And once you do that, again, you need to make sure you really compost it, or again, bury it under the soil where it would break down, or again, throw it to the trash, or whatever your options would be. Hopefully you'll try to recycle it. But it's something that once it's in the plants, again, really the only way to deal with it is just to dig them up.